My name is Bartek Zdanowski. I have a Twitter account. You can tweet about this presentation. I would be delighted if you share your thoughts about it. You can ask me questions through the Twitter or after the presentation or during the presentation. I would be grateful if you have any questions. I'm a Java developer at Talk, is a software house based in Warsaw. I love RC planes and taekwondo. It's my latest love, of course. I have 2 children, 1 wife, 2 dogs. I'm also a co-organizer of Confitura. Did you attend Confitura? Only 1 person? Don't be shy, okay? And maybe this year you will come too. This year is the 10th anniversary, so it will be huge, I suppose. Okay, that's the agenda. I will be mentioning those topics. As I said, I suppose you know about them, but I think we can share some thoughts during the presentation. Okay, so why should we develop ourselves? I think it's because the technologies we are using every day are constantly changing. Every year there is a new framework. Every few years there is a new language. And as a developers, we should learn them. We should study them. But not everybody can have latest technologies in their everyday job. Who of you is using, for example, Scala? Raise your hand. 3, 4 people. Who of you is using, I don't know, Kotlin? None of you. Who of you is using Java 8? Almost everybody. Somebody is using still Java 7 or 6? Yes. It's because sometimes there is no money or time to change the Java version, for example. And you have to do your everyday job, but you might stuck in it, you know, and there might be no time for testing latest technologies or approaches or methodologies, okay? And sometimes there are projects like in banks that you expect them to be stable, so it's very risky to change a Java version from day to day, okay? But there are many ways to evaluate new technologies or approaches during your everyday job or after your work. And some of them are expensive, some of them are very cheap or free. And I will show you some ideas. Books, everybody read books, of course. I'm sure you are. We might divide them into e-books and paper books. E-books, of course, are instantly. While you pay, you get it, you download it. It's very obvious, but you have to think in your organization to share them. For some special place that you can store whole books and for everybody to have instant access for it, all right? So we have a own cloud, it's an open source cloud, and we share the books, but you can use everything, every network storage, right? Printed books, obviously you will buy it from the publisher. I would recommend Book Depository.com because there are no problems with shipping, with duties, especially if you buy books that you would buy from, for example, United States and you are here in Europe. So there are no problems. I would recommend it, all right? And of course, you have to have proper place for those books. Sometimes like this, if you don't use. There was a situation that one man during my presentation in Wrocław was deeply touched because of this picture. So sorry if it is offending you. I might use the picture with .NET or something like this. It is a very good idea to have a shared page where you can share your thoughts and rating about the books you have read. It's in Polish, of course, but you might. This is working, okay. So it's the rating here. So people are rating it. So you know if you want to use it during studying some, for example, DDD or other technologies. And it's very important to have a special column who borrowed it, because if you need it, you have to find it and don't know who has it, right? And of course, books are relatively cheap for the company, okay? And you have to remember about those organization stuff. Daily stand-ups. Who of you attend daily stand-ups every day? Almost, yeah. So you know why it's very important to do it. The idea is to do it while standing, because it should last only a few minutes. If you have very long daily stand-ups, maybe you should refactor it. And why it influences our self-development? It's because you share the problems briefly with other guys, with other people, and it influences your everyday job. So you can have somebody who will help you to move those obstacles. Okay, so I think it's very important, and sometimes it influences the way how you work, because if you are lazy, you wouldn't have something to tell during the next stand-up. Okay, and sometimes we use the rule that if somebody will miss the stand-up, we'll bring some sweets, for example. So it enforces to attend stand-ups. Those are my colleagues. They are talking with their task board on the monitor about what they will do during the day. Okay, code review. Who of you is using code review? Nice. I think half of the room. It's very important because you can find lots of bugs, mistakes. You can track the development of the code. What are your colleagues doing? You can learn from their code and get tips from them. So it's very, very self-developing, because you can learn new techniques, maybe libraries. They can point that you are, inefficient during the construction of the code, and et cetera, et cetera. And there are plenty of useful tools, automatic tools, that can be connected with your code review if you are using something like Gerrit, GitLab, that can check the code instantly for some static problems, or just Jenkins that runs the tests, and it can point where the problem in the code is. So it's very, very helpful. I will show you in a minute. So there are plenty of techniques. You can do pair programming. It's some kind of instantly code review. You can open the code inside the IDE, and before it is pushed the master repository, it can be reviewed by your peer. And of course, you can use those tools. There are other tools, paid tools, for example. This is a GitHub, everybody knows it. So you can just comment the line change and maybe request some fixes about it. And so those are my comments about GitLab and Gerrit. GitLab for me is, too sweet, but there are plenty of people that likes it. All right, and there is a tool we call Sputnik. I will have a quick talk about it during the lunchtime. It's a tool that analyzes statically your code and finds the common mistakes in your code and comments the problems right inside your code. So it's very nice, because in a few seconds you have feedback from this tool, and you can fix your errors and push a new patch set. Okay, that's how it looks like. And Gerrit, it's my favorite tool. I will talk about it a bit longer, because it's very powerful. It's very hard to configure, so we end up with admin role. Everybody had admin role, because we didn't know how to configure it to some access levels. It's very nice because it has a few levels of code acceptance. You can give +1, which means the code is very good, but I need somebody else to review it. And you can give +2. That means the code is awesome, and you can push it to the repository, right? And you can have very nice comments in the code. So you can see here, for example, Sputnik. It's an automated tool, as I mentioned. it comments right with the, the place where the problem is. So you can see instantly where you have made a mistake. There is my comment added here, but it should be relevant to the code. And after somebody will fix those bugs, you can push the code to the repository. And here you can see Jenkins gave us +1 because all the tests passed. Unit and integration tests. Sputnik gave us +1 because there were no major bugs. And somebody else gave me +2 and it was merged. Okay. And who should give you make you a code review? Every teammate. Sometimes we have an organization with a structure, so it should be maybe Uber architect, and so in Gerrit you can have those roles included. So teammates can give you +1, and Uber architects or other teammates can give you +2. Right? And that's my statement. So since 3 years, every my line I have created was reviewed by somebody else, at least one person. And I will never work again without code review because I can see that the gain I have, it's very huge. So it's a very good idea, and it doesn't have to block my work. And still, I have lots of feedback from my colleagues during the code review. All right. Another tool, Retrospective. Who of you do sometimes retrospectives? Okay. So retrospective, is a moment when you have some afterthoughts about some period of your project. That could be one sprint, 2 or 3 weeks, for example. That could be a whole project, right? There are plenty of ways you can do retrospectives, but I always do the same. So what was good, what was bad, what should be fixed, right? And we can have outcomes, action points to fix some problems that points out ourselves where should we go. That's the example we just commented. What were our problems? We were missing our colleague Maciek. He was on the vacations, for example, and we had some action points. And that's the retrospective after a whole project with something special here, which is a diagram of our feelings. So we had ups and downs in our projects. Yes, there is a very, how you say, swear words, F word, because somebody pointed out that we didn't use TDD too much. So it was a few years ago. I'm a totally new guy, so it's a past, yeah. And why should we do it? Because it makes us rethink about the direction of the project. It can be very developing because if we do something wrong, we can fix it right now after 1 or 2 weeks. So I strongly recommend it to use this technique. Okay, blogging. I don't blog too much. I suppose you are blogging a lot. Who of you is blogging constantly? I don't know, weekly or not? Not of you. Okay. I've divided it into 3 categories because I think that there can be complex tutorials. I don't do it. I'm too lazy. You have to be very patient. Maybe simple notes about thoughts about some technologies or things you have approached. I like it very much. And I always blog. I force myself to blog about the problems I didn't find in the internet, in the Stack Overflow or somewhere else, because I think I should share about the resolution. If I spend, for example, 4 hours digging and looking what was the problem. Okay, it's my blog. It's very crappy and old. It's ugly. I'm not a designer of of the graphics, but I will show you the same article in a minute. So that's the idea, sharing the knowledge. Sometimes you have to prepare well to create good articles, and it forces you to look what's under the hood. So it's very self-developing about the particular technique or technology. And I have a tip for you. You might have your own blog and make your company aggregate your blog, which will be very good if you, for example, split in the future. You will change your job, but you will still stay with your blog articles. And that's the same article. It's much more beautiful. Somebody took after it. And I think it's a good idea, because that might stop you if you have to contribute the company's blog, but you don't know what will happen in the future. Okay, attending the conferences. So I don't want to convince you, it's very good, but I want to say that there are plenty of good meetups in your JAGs locally. Lots of them are free and happening very, very often. For example, Confitura is free of charge. Yes, we have small registration fee, but that goes for charity, because people were registering and then they didn't show because, for example, they had a very heavy party the day before and they didn't want to go. So I think it's motivating for them, and there is a lot of money that goes for charity. And this year we'll have 10th anniversary. Okay, that's a picture from it. You can use lots of very good pages to find conferences, meetups. For example, in Poland, I recommend Crossweb, because it shows this category, which is paid and unpaid. So you can see that the example, one day it had lots of parallel meetups in this whole Poland. And you can, of course, use Lineyard and Meetup for finding those. And speaking at conferences, that's the harder stuff. But in my opinion, it's ultimate version of exploring the topics you would like to show, to share the experience, to meet some people, and it's very nice way to travel through the country or through the world, because very often you can have a refund of the costs from your employer, for example, or from the conference organizer. That's me in Belgrade, in Serbia. It was a very nice trip. I was talking about Vertex. And I have some tips, because I went the whole road, how to start speaking. I strongly recommend it, because it's very, very good idea as self-development, because you can share, your thoughts. So you should start with presenting inside your company, because you meet there very nice people that will give you some tips, and they won't hate you, of course, I suppose. You can go for meetups or JAGs. Again, you meet lots of people that you know, and the atmosphere is very friendly. And make sure that they will record you, because if you want to go to some conference, sometimes if you are unknown, you have to send a link to a video. So it's very good idea to make sure that they will record you. And then you can go to bigger conferences locally inside your country, because it's easier to speak in your native language. And how to speak globally, I might say. You have to have good English. Unfortunately, I don't work with clients from abroad, so I might have some problems with my English, so I have to practice it every day by my own. Luckily, some of you have some clients from abroad, so they have very fluent English. So you have to present at some kind of big conference in your country, and then if you will try to attend to speak at the conference, choose smaller one. It would be very easy to access it, because you might say that you have been speaking at the bigger conference in your country, and then present at the biggest one, and the word is yours, of course. So, and the main idea is to practice. So you have to show locally, practice, show inside your company, practice, talk and practice. It takes lots of hours to get a good presentation, and it has to be evaluated a few times, but still it's very worth of it. So who knows what is behind me? La Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, yes, I was there. So I have to show it, It's my personal achievement to get there. So. And I've met lots of people from Red Hat, for example. And the funny thing was that I was in the project with Fabricate. I don't know if you know the technology. It's some kind of integration platform. And a month before the conference, and I met there people who created it, Klaus Ibsen, James Strahan, etc., etc. So it's the top of Red Hat, and they have closed the branch 1.0, which we were using in production, and they started from scratch using Kubernetes, etc., etc. So we were complaining to them, personally, that why did they do it? Because we had to make a fork of their own branch. They shut it down, so it was a huge problem for us. But it was fun still to talk with them about it. It was manager the decision, so it was behind them. Okay, open source. Who of you is sometimes committing to open source? Raise your hand. Some of you. If you are using open source in your projects, it's very easy to find some problems, maybe bugs, or create new feature, and you create a pull request to fix it or to enhance it. So it's very good idea to sometimes to push something. Okay. So of course you would use GitHub. It's the main repository for open source nowadays, and you might join projects, of course, for free. Sometimes big projects, you might start with fixing little bugs, and that's very self-developing because behind that project there are many rock stars from our Java or programmer world. So you can meet them virtually. Your code would be reviewed by them. So it's very good idea because you will rise your skills instantly, okay? And you can check the code, how did they do it, and get some tips from proper techniques that they are using nowadays. Yes, I said "czy," which means "or" in Polish. Sorry. Okay, it's the best way to promote ourselves because for me, if somebody comes to our company for a for a review, a job interview, I give you them extra points because they are open source committers, because it means that they are constantly trying to seek for new ways and they are giving something to the community. Okay, and it's my profile. I'm not very active, sorry. And I'd like to mention that you might have a personal GitHub account and your company can have its own and be an organization that gathers around all the people. So you can join that organization and other organizations that develop some code. Okay, and now the things that I like the most and you don't know it, because Infobar was invented inside our company. And it is some kind of sharing the knowledge about things you have read in the internet, some articles, blog posts. You shared with all other guys. We gather and talk about it, and hopefully we will someday go to the bar and speak, talk about it with a beer. So that's the name, Infobar. So you have to create some kind of a mailing list when you can send interesting links to the articles, blog posts, maybe tweets sometimes, or something like this that would like to share. Okay, you have to gather those links on the shared page, and then people will meet, for example, monthly, and discuss during the 1-hour meeting about those informations that they have read. Okay. And that's the idea of the page. It's a simple page in Google Docs. It is important to gather who sent the link, because it's the first person to comment it. Because not everybody reads all the information, but you have to remember who sent the link to discuss. They can give you a little brief about the article, and we discuss about the influence of that information at our work or life, okay? So we should collect everything that is related with our company. That might be some technical information or maybe fantasy information if you are interested as a whole. Okay, it's the picture we just met, talking about the consecutive links. For example, here we are watching, I don't know, it was, I suppose, Tesla's advertisement or something. That was a advertising of some electric cars. I don't remember if it was a Tesla. Here we can see information about the Mozilla will stop developing Firefox OS. It wasn't popular much, but still, it might be very interesting for us. Oh, press, yes. Yes, please. Yeah. I will try to be natural. Yeah, of course. I love it. Okay, workshops. Do you sometimes do workshops inside your company when you meet and somebody is leading the training or workshop by your colleagues? Yeah, a few persons. So the idea is to if you have some experience in some technologies, you can share your thoughts about it. Maybe you use something new inside your project, or maybe after your work. And I divided it in two categories: internal and external, with an alternative of internal workshop. So internal, of course, we just gather around. It is good to have the regular time. If your employer would allow you, I would recommend do it weekly, but still it costs money because you have to go away from your project and meet during the hour meeting. It should be at the same time to have the pace of meeting to have to remember about it, and you should have a shared page with schedule to put the ideas and dates when somebody will lead a workshop. And there should be a person responsible for organizing it, for coordinating it. It is very important, okay? That's another picture from the same place. We call it cube because it has cube shape. It's not too big. Somebody is talking about something, I don't remember. That's about Vertex. My colleague, graphic designer, made a very nice picture of it, and we were tweeting and showing off. As an alternative, I would recommend if there is nobody to lead the workshop, don't miss it. Don't go away. Just meet and watch a recording from some conference, for example. It should last for 1 hour, and you can then discuss. So it's an alternative for a real workshop. Okay, so don't lose your time slot. And I would recommend a page, as I mentioned. So those on the left, those are rules, some tips for somebody who will lead the workshop, and on the right, obviously, there is a schedule with dates. Okay, external trainings. You can show your skills at Jukes meetings, and you can cooperate with training companies. And they will pay you for it because you are experienced in some technology. For example, I did a workshop of Raspberry Pi, of Vertex on Raspberry Pi at Three City Juke in Gdańsk at the Polish Sea. And they had a sponsor, so they refund me the cost of coming to Gdańsk. I took my family. It was a wonderful weekend by the sea. It took 6 hours. So we had lots of wires, blinking diodes, and etc. etc. It was very, very, very nice. And they, as I mentioned, they can refund you the costs of your expenses. And if you have wise boss, he will let you go, because still you are promoting your company, because you are very smart and you are showing your skills and you work for them, okay? Hackathons. Did you attend any hackathon? Right, some of you. It's hacking marathon. It can last for 1 day, 24 hours if you are strong enough and taking cocaine or drinking coffee. It can last for, sorry? Red Bull, okay, that might be. look for your heart. Okay, you can meet monthly, quarterly, yearly. That's the perfect hackathon. HackVav. It lasts for 2 days, and it was very hardware related, but with software accents. Here we are with my colleague Piotr. Those helmets, I've changed. I've put a small motor servo, and there is a remote control here. And Piotr did a software, and when he pushed the button on his phone, my horns went down. And the idea was, to integrate it with Jenkins. So if I have broke the build, my horns would go down instantly to show that I'm ashamed of broken the build. Okay? And if I would fix it, they should go up. Right? And we didn't want. Okay, but it still was lots of fun. So we have two kinds. Software and hardware, you can mix it. Categories useful and unuseful, but still fun. Okay, and there is plenty of tips because we did it a lot, and it costs lots of money because the whole company goes, for example, for 1 day or 2 days. It is expensive. So why should we do it? We can evaluate new technologies, new stuff. Sometimes we can refactor some code that we didn't have time. Okay, but we want to do it. We can have a new ideas inside our project, and sometimes for fun. Okay, and you have to have again shared page with the ideas. Sometimes you run into problem and you say, if I would have such a tool, I would fix it very fast. And you might write it. Okay, so that's the place where you collect those ideas. You can run the registration, and you have to have brief meeting before because you are investing lots of money, your employer money. So you have to be prepared. There's no time for improvisations. Okay, and there is a page in our company when those are new ideas. Those are the ideas that they are struck out because we did it, and there is some kind of assignments from person to which project they will do. Okay, so during the hackathon you have to have fixed the canvas or timing canvas, okay, official kickoff, maybe pizza, maybe beer. I don't recommend it because you are getting lazy after it. And you have to have official ending with demos and analyzing the outcomes of the hackathon. During the kickoff, you have to discuss what you will do, what outcomes you expect, because you are very focused on the particular project, right? And form the team. And one team is not a team, okay? Here we are preparing some game. It was one year ago. Here we have created a small application. We have a sandwich man. He comes about 9, but we never know when he will come. So if somebody sees him, he press the button, the sandwich button, I go. Okay, and it pops up to other guys. So they push it again, and they say that they will go. So the number of people are going arises rapidly, and everybody goes because there are sandwiches. All right. Of course, you have to have pizzas. Look at those smiled faces. We are just happy because we have free pizza, 1 per month or quarterly, free pizza for free. Okay. This is my hardware project. It was a total failure. I was alone, one person. It's not a team. And I failed because I stuck in some problems. I didn't have anybody else to discuss it, okay? And there is another hardware project, and it was a great success. We did it with my colleague Piotr. Again, that other guys with the horn. We have a RFID card. We have to put it on the reader, and the door opens. But sometimes we forget about it, or we are too lazy, or somebody else comes at the door. So we have hacked those systems. This is the alarm system of the door. This is the Raspberry Pi, some hardware. So we hacked into it, and we created a small application in Node.js that it was put to the internet, to the public internet, with some passwords, etc., with one button. And if you push it, the door will open. It was great success. Currently, it's broken. again, but still it was lots of fun, okay? Ending. You have to have proper ending. So all the projects have to have a demo and analysis why did they failed eventually. And we have to gather all the summary at the page, because your company has just invested lots of money in your development. Okay, so you have to sum it up. This is a demo. We've created a library. I showed you the Confluence page. This is the, we tried to create a proper software enclosure. This is the money burner. It was my idea. You know, if you have a meeting, for example, in corporation, you just point how many people will go, and the money here goes burning, burning, burning. So you have to go quickly because it is burning. Those guys, this is the animated GIF. They are putting the money into the fans. Okay, this is my colleague Piotr. He is hacking a joystick. It's the picture from latest week. He did something like this. It was based on Arduino, and it was, you know, faking the keyboard. So it sent keyboard codes, left, right, and space, Piotr space, it was a space, something like this, to shoot, okay? And they created a game, it is a Sputnik, that shoots bugs and null pointer exceptions. There is a big boss, so it was very nice fun. And if you will attend our talk, quick talk during the lunch, we might show it to you, and you can play it even. Okay, I have 12 minutes. It's very good timing. Certificates. I have only one certificate. It's a certificate Scrum Master or something like this. I'm lazy, so I don't do certificates, but there are some people or employees that value certificates. It's a very good idea to have them for them. It's, in my opinion, it's very structured knowledge, but it is put in, you know, a few days. So then you have to go and try it, evaluate it, because otherwise it will, you know, vapor from your head. I recommend you trainings from those places. There is a lot of massive online courses. There is a problem with Coursera because they are moving away from free courses. There are two platforms, of old one and new one. The old one has over 400 very good free courses, and they are shutting it down at the end of June. Okay, the case of my friend Rafał. He's crazy about certificates. After he changed the job, okay? And for over 4 years ago, we were colleagues at the previous job. And he said to himself that he can learn a lot. So he started to learn. And that's the outcome. He has over 25 certificates. But I think he's crazy. Hacking space is the place where you can put lots of hardware, 3D printer, solder, oscilloscopes, etc., and hack some hardware. Nowadays it's very easy because you have, you know, blocks that you just connect with cables. It's very easy to create something. You might use some base of the robots, etc. In my company, we have such a place. And I gathered some people. We collect the money. Company gave us second half, and we bought a 3D printer. So it's awesome technology. It's me joking, right? It's a total mess, but it's very fun. We have here a 3D printer, some cables. My colleague is printing something here. I don't know. It's some kind of hook for towers or something. My colleague Magda is soldering lights. Those are the lights, you know, it's my another idea for Jenkins. So you might have such a display with your projects, and when something fails, the red one is blinking like a crazy. If it would be fixed, it might blink with the blue one, etc. I tried to sell it, but I failed, okay? It was my idea, no. So some experiments with LEDs, and that's the stuff that my wife told me that I have to throw it away. So I took it to our hacking space. It's a total mess, you know. Okay, other ideas, because the other companies has lots of nice ideas. There is a Atlassian Ship It Day. It is run quarterly. They do something for self-development as a teams. They often create a new features to Jira or Confluence. So that is some kind of suspicious. Looks like another day in work. But I read at their page that, for example, they have changed all the lights to LED lights, for example. So it was a task moving towards ecology. But it's very, you know, it's a very special day in Atlassian. Okay, Google 20%. It's a mythical, 20%. But I read about it. It was sometimes like 120% if you want to do something after your hours. Gmail was created during that time, for example. It was idea, you know, to create something else to experiment. So it was rather state of the mind, that 20%. In Poland, we have Allegro, which is some kind of local eBay. They have Allegro Tech Meeting. It's an internal conference. They have, you know, call for papers and 2 days of talks. It's, I think, in my opinion, it's a very nice idea. Okay, so I have divided those tips, those topics in 2 categories or three categories. Those that you can do by your own, because you might say, my employee don't support me. Okay, you can do it by your own. Some of them you can do only within your company because you need other people to do it with you. Okay, and then you have to sometimes convince your team or your manager to support you or give money, free time, that the employer would pay for it. Okay, some of them are for free, of course, or quite cheap. For example, daily stand-up takes about, I don't know, 5 minutes, so it's not a problem. Okay, and some of them are expensive because, for example, 20 people have to gather around for 1 hour. Okay, that makes over two man days. That is expensive. Okay, and maybe you can convince your manager how to start. Okay, it's based always on the self-development, but still it's sometimes fun to have something in your company, and you might change your state of mind because the nice place to work in is better place for you. Okay, it's not very boring, and you can see that your employer is open for your development. Okay, so if you have, we have 5 minutes left. If you have any questions, because you are listening, not asking me. Okay. So if there is no question, I thank you, and I invite you for our flash talk about Sputnik. It's a very nice tool. It's open source during the lunch break, and thank you.